So I'm back here inspecting a caravan park today in East Sussex. I'm going to take you through some of the interesting things about a caravan park electrical inspection. Some of the common things that we see on electrical inspections and also some of the issues we're likely to encounter. First of all, these caravans are portable units. So they've got a jacked up system here where they can literally be towed onto a low loader and move from site to site. So they form an interesting part of our caravan park inspection. We've got two parts of the inspection. First of all, you've got the caravan, which is generally inspected at different intervals depending on how it's used. So these are residential park homes that are in use for 8 to 10 months of the year, depending on the site license. Sometimes these are used as holiday homes where you have people in and out of them more frequently, have more wear and tear, more damage, more vandalism, but these ones are all owned. So these ones here are inspected under Guidance Note 3's recommendations. They're inspected every 3 years across the site. And they've got a connection out of the caravan down an Arctic Flex onto a 16 amp commando plug, which goes onto a commando outlet on what we call a caravan park hookup. That caravan park hookup's got an RCD in there and a circuit breaker and a meter to allow us just 16 amps worth of power to run through that cable, through the commando outlet and into the caravan. So as part of the annual site inspection for licensing, we'll carry out an inspection on the actual supply to the caravan every year to make sure that that RCD is working, to make sure that the meter's working and those overcurrent devices are working as well. And then everything on the inside gets tested annually. Now, the earthing arrangement for this part of the site means that there's a TT installation here, which means that we've got an earth rod, which is why we've got that RCD fitted within the hookup. Now, it's really important, the things that happen here around site regularly, earth rods get damaged, they corrode over time. This site can change massively from summer to winter on those earth readings. We need to make sure those earth rods are working well, connected properly, there's no damage to that cable and things like that. But I'll take you through a few of those parts now. So here is part of our electrical installation for the caravan site. This is what we call one of our hookup units. It's got a plastic opening door here, and inside this one's got a meter and then a 16 amp RCCB unit. And this right here beside it, electricity meter to monitor the consumption. So as you'll see here, we've got the supply that goes to the caravan, that goes to a consumer unit, normally just the other side of the wall there. So we'll take that apart and have a look inside there. First of all, we need to make sure that there's no overloading, no heat damage, thermal damage to this plug at all. We can see in there that it's quite corroded. We'll have a look up inside here in just a moment. It won't be the most gracious thing for me to do on camera. And then we've got this lead here, which is the earth lead down to an earth rod. As we see here, just taking a look at this, the earth rod cap cover has been damaged, and I can move that earth rod clamp on the earth rod there, so that's not in the greatest of condition, so we'll look to tighten that up in a moment. You'll also see here that the earth rod is getting quite old. It's doing what's called delaminating, so the copper here is in a pretty poor condition. Before I've even gone into the property with this caravan, the water's been disconnected through the winter, so before it's getting livened up in the spring, we're doing this inspection. The armoured cable there is quite tight across underneath the caravan. We want to make sure there's no unnecessary pressure or tension on that connection there. And also I can see cables here that are all hanging down underneath the caravan. Twin and earth cabling doesn't like being out in the sunlight. So that's one of the things that we'll mention there. So we need to have a look at the earth rod, make sure that that's in good condition. We're getting a good test off of that and a good connection, so we're going to have to tighten that clamp up. Then we're going to take this apart, check all the terminals inside, check the terminals in the plug to make sure that they are show no signs of corrosion, no signs of overheating. And then we're going to test this RCD and do an earth fault loop impedance to make sure that our earth rod is working, and test the RCD to make sure that that's tripping within the timescales that are recommended in Guidance Note 3 of BS 7671. So I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll come back to in a few minutes.